Welcome to Inside the Honors College, where we believe that wisdom and virtue is found when we learn together. Join us as we take an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. I'm Taina Esteves.
And I'm Abby DeVos. And today we talked with Armando from TRIO. And TRIO is our resource on campus for first generation students. And I just loved being able to hear from Armando about the different resources available and how to take advantage of what's offered to you, but also acknowledging some of the boundaries that may keep you from reaching out and how to get around those boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was one of the first resources that I had heard about when I learned that APU, which was an HSI, or technically still is an HSI. So it was so great getting to connect with him. He has great energy, lovely personality, and I just can't wait for the rest of you to get to know him more. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Awesome. Well, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Here, we're going to be talking to Armando from TRIO. Armando, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, this is Armando Bustos. I am the director of TRIO programs. I've been at APU for about 5 years now. Got my master's here in college counseling and student development. Didn't expect to work here, but now that I'm here, I'm really enjoying the community and working with TRIO.
Beautiful. All right. So kind of getting into our fun questions starting off. What snacks, if your office does offer snacks, does your office offer?
We have Cup of Noodles.
Okay.
Which is a game changer for a lot of people, especially when you're looking for a quick meal. We have like fruit snacks is really popular in our office.
Nice.
Granola bars, not so popular, I'm realizing. We have some like basic chips, some candy, chocolate goes by really fast in our office for students. So
that's piqued my interest.
Instant coffee for those of you that don't like paying $4 for a cup of coffee.
All right.
And I like to brag about this, even though it may not be that big of a thing. It's hot water, cold water. We have a water dispenser in our office.
Yep, that's a hot commodity. The honors one
important.
Just broke.
A microwave, even we allow our students to use, and a small fridge that if you want to store something, you're welcome to store something. So
decked out. I will say of all the resources we've touched based on, you guys are offering the most so far.
we
Awesome.
do what we can.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, if you could describe your office in 3 words, what 3 words would those be?
Friendly.
Oh.
You're bound to hear laughter when you come into our office, either our student workers or ourselves. And I like to say kind of homey. Like we end up working in our communal space a lot more than in our individual offices sometimes. So that's nice.
And then closing us off, what is your favorite part about your office? That can be your individual space or just like where TRIO is centered as a whole.
I had a student share this once, and it's kind of, I think, made me realize how unique and special of a space we have.
Yeah.
Is a student came up to us like, I wasn't sure if I could be myself in this office. And after working with us for a few weeks, she's like, you know what? Like, I can be myself. And I think that's like super like affirming, we're doing something good. I think that just speaks to who we are in our office. So that's my favorite part. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, what a touching way to open our podcast. I'm so excited to get more into it. So Armando, could you kind of talk about just a general basics of what TRIO is for our listeners?
Yeah. So TRIO is an umbrella term for federal grants, which just means money that comes from the White House, the government. There's 2 TRIO programs at APU. One works with high school students at Azusa High School, and the other one works with our college students here at APU. We work with 140 students that identify as first-gen, Pell eligible kind of students that we're primarily focused on. And we just offer a wide range of services to make sure students are successful. Academic support, so study skills, tutoring for students. We have one-on-one kind of advising if you need help, either personal or just you have a question and you don't know where to go. We're a great place to start for our students. We're starting to do a lot more with career oriented activities and services. So we just had a day where we worked with our seniors that are graduating, because that's a tough transition when you're getting ready to graduate. We talked about salary negotiation. How to find a job, where to apply, how to pay back loans, all the good stuff. So just a one-stop shop for students, academic, personal, and even like career orientedness. So we just want to help answer any questions possible.
Absolutely. So 2 questions following up on that. One, you guys did just move location, right?
Yes.
So you guys are now on East Campus.
Yes, so we're on East Campus. We used to be split. We used to be in the Academic Success Center and now in the mods. So now we're together, one big happy family on the back of Smith Hall. So if you ever walk by the little barbecue grill on the back of Smith Hall, I like to say by the Amazon lockers. That's kind of where we're at.
Now,
behind Seven Palms. That's where we're located. So it's a great space. We have a study room that students can rent out if they want. So
nice.
It's a great space for us to be together.
Cool. And then second follow-up, you mentioned academic success. Is kind of the tutoring, one-on-one advising that you guys do partnering with academic success now? Or is it kind of like independent people underneath where like TRIO is at that kind of work with students?
So TRIO has its own staff that support students. So we have myself as a director. We have a kind of a success coach, but their title's a bit different, a support specialist. And then we have graduate students that we all meet with students.
Yeah.
Our goal is that we meet with each one of our TRIO students at least 4 times a year.
Nice.
So checking in on them, both academically, spiritually, even sometimes, or financially, talking about finances or just anything they may need. So it's a great time, and we get to build those connections because it's the same staff that you meet with your many years that you're here at APU.
Right. And so the kind of process with that and connecting with people happens your freshman year, or do people have to seek out TRIO and then kind of use the resources there? Or do you guys kind of reach out to students that may be Pell Grant eligible, first gen students like that?
We do some email recruitment. We do tabling. We do a few events, advertisements on the TVs around campus. But really, there's an application process. So you have online and paper applications, so you're making it easy for everybody. That gets evaluated, reviewed, and then we call you in for an interview, just determine eligibility.
Right.
Everything's free. So we're going on a grad school trip. So we're actually going to go to San Diego, see some colleges out there, and expose people to graduate school. Do some fun cultural activities. We're going to go on a boat tour of San Diego. So again, touching the student both in different areas of their life, just to kind of expose them to things. And
you can kind of like apply at any point.
You can apply at any point. You apply as a freshman, sophomore. We have transfer students apply to our program. Their needs everybody's needs are going to differ based on when they apply, but we work with all students.
Awesome. So kind of using that as a transition into the heart of what kind of TRIO and the support system that is present there. Could you kind of walk me through what a student that could be looking for a place like this or resources or environment like this, and like what would a student expect kind of going through TRIO? What does that journey process look like?
So once the application process happens, you'll meet with one of us, one of the lovely staff in our TRIO office. If you're accepted, you get a welcome email and a packet. You are then assigned a staff member that you're going to be meeting with throughout the year.
Nice.
I like to say one of our goals is to help build community and a safe space for students in a way that's aware of their first gen identity, right? As first gen students, myself being a first gen student, sometimes you're just navigating the university blindly.
Yeah.
And having someone to decipher the hieroglyphics of what it means to be in college is a great tool. So they'll experience a lot of that. So it'll be from how do I interpret my financial aid to I am having a mini crisis about my major. I am panicking about how I'm going to pay stuff. And we're a place to come, cry on our shoulders, whatever that may be for y'all, and then come up with strategies and connect you to the right offices or even help you find those external support systems. So we post scholarships on our Canvas page that we have for our program.
Gotcha. All right. So you guys will get like a Canvas.
So you have access to a Canvas page filled with resources. We do workshops that we record and post on our Canvas page. They can then watch.
Nice.
And kind of get, because we understand that students, you can't be everywhere at all the times, or you're a commuter, or you're living on campus, or you're carrying or working for your living, right? And so we have these online workshops they can attend or watch recordings, because our goal is that you get the information on how to be a successful student and how to thrive at APU.
And you had mentioned that you're also a first gen student.
Yeah.
So kind of touching on that a little bit, what is like a resource that you could have used at your time in college or from your experience that you think TRIO has been able to kind of come alongside students and help out with?
Yeah. I will say the career piece.
Yeah.
I went to a huge university, public institution. I did not know where the Career Center was. I didn't know the Career Center existed. So after I graduated, I felt really lost in terms of what am I going to do? Yeah. And so we've actually been doing a lot more things in tangent with the Career Center. They're doing workshops for our students. How do you identify and apply to internships was a workshop we did with Career Center recently. I feel like they're the least utilized resource on campus because as a first-gen student, my goal was to go to college and get a good job to be able to live a better life. And I forgot about the getting a good job part when I was in undergrad because you're so focused on studying,
right,
paying for college, even just like doing well mentally, like mental health as a first gen student, right? When you're so concerned about how am I going to pay for school? I feel guilty for going to school. I know when I was in college, my dad lost his job. And I was like, I'm going to have to quit school. To help my family, right?
My mom recently just had some like medical stuff, and I was like, okay, well, that's it. I'm gonna have to drop out. This is me leaving. I gotta go back home. I gotta figure out how to support them. And then she called me. She was like, calm down. I'm fine.
And God bless, everything worked out where I didn't have to quit. And those things happen to us as Christian students. And so I think so many concerns that you're so focused on, preoccupied with, doing well in classes, right? Figuring out what is a symposium, what is a seminar class, just being okay with failing, right? All these things that you're trying to figure out, that career is so far removed from what I was thinking about in undergrad. So definitely would say Career Center was something I didn't utilize. Wish I would have. I'm glad with where I am at career-wise because I can help first-gen students like myself. But I definitely would have benefited from some career guidance.
For sure. And just because you were talking about parents right here. So I'm not a first gen, but my parents are. So like they were the first people to go through that here, but like very Latino households. So like very strong, like the family ties is a huge motivator for like me and wanting to do these resources in the first place. So being able to like give students an opportunity to like really thrive with this. And so is there anything that TRIO does with the like family component? Like, is there any of the like, I understand also building up the individual as a student and becoming, a real adult when you exit school. But how does that kind of dynamic work with students who, I mean, obviously as first gen students are going to be doing a new thing for the whole unit?
That's a great question. And I think a unique question because as college students, parents aren't, a university isn't obligated to communicate to the parents. It's not like high school where they get your grades. At college, there really are there's that separation. I think a lot of what we do is we help coach students to have those conversations with family members, right?
Exactly.
How to set boundaries.
Yep.
And I was talking to a student on like, okay, like
say it again for the people in the back.
We need to coach you through have a conversation on how can you talk to your parents that yes, you have obligations at home. But during finals week, it's different than any other week in college. So how can we negotiate your responsibilities during that week so that you can maybe fulfill those during your spring break or during another time? Because it's a different lifestyle as a college student. So we help our students navigate all those conversations about financial aid, grades, boundaries is a big one, especially being Latino, right? You're expected to be at every quinceañera, every family party. And if you miss, you're kind of like why don't you care about your family? And so even helping students deal with that is a big part of what we do. All those like small first gen things or we have a lot of students that come from different backgrounds and we help support. And so it's all those like small, invisible almost conversations that you would never expect to have or don't know you should have those type of conversations.
So in that same vein, what's like a piece of advice that you would be giving to a student who may be able to utilize the resources under TRIO? A piece of advice that you would give them for their journey through college and post-college? Very vague question, but if there's kind of like one thing that you were gonna let these students know that could be coming to your office, like what would you want them to know?
One thing I've noticed with myself as a first-gen students I know of and work with is there's sometimes a reluctant to take advantage of opportunities. One, either because you have time constraints, right? Money constraints, mental health constraints, right? Or you may not be sure if you're qualified to take on that opportunity to research or a job or internship. My one piece of advice is to shoot your shot, go for it, apply, get involved. But on the other side, seek resources that are going to help you prepare for that. As a first-gen student, you may not have anybody to help you with your internship application or your resume to apply to internship. But that's where TRIO, we can walk alongside you and help you prep for those new things in your life as a first-gen student. So, because the one thing I've been sharing with everywhere I go, presentations, meetings, one-on-ones is every accomplishment begins with a decision to try. And that's not me. That's that. That's John F. Kennedy. Right?
I was like, gosh, so those random persons.
And I think that's an important piece as a first-gen student or any college student in general is you're not going to if you don't take advantage of something, you're not going to get those opportunities.
Absolutely. Well, I can't think of a better way to leave off there than that. Thank you so much, Armando, for coming to talk to us. I really appreciate you and your time and what your office offers to students from different walks of life. So thank you so much for speaking with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and any way we can support the Honors College, and likewise, we're happy to do so.
Thank you.
I adore Armando.
I know.
So much. And Trio is just a fantastic resource. I love what he was talking about, acknowledging the hardship of creating boundaries, especially as a first-gen student, with what you communicate with your family. And I think Trio is just such a great resource to walk you through those difficult conversations.
Yeah. I was literally making fun of my mom after that interview that day, actually, and was like, hey, Ma, literally someone's just talking about making boundaries with their family. Isn't that crazy? And she was like, yeah, go work. Do your thing. I'm like, okay, great. Got it. 100%. No, it was so great getting to talk to him. I mean, even just selfishly as like a Latina student on campus who could resonate with a lot of things that he was talking about, just from like his family dynamics and just this kind of unhealthy perfectionism theme that I feel like has been coming up a lot, at least for myself. I could just be calling myself out there. So yeah, it was so great getting to hear his perspective and just knowing that there are resources like that on campus that also take like the career element too. I thought that was a really cool part that he brought in. I think it's such a great resource that no one really thinks about until they're actively in it or participating in it, or until someone brings it to them. So I'm so glad we got a chance to highlight his story and their office over that way. So feel free to stop by them. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, we're very, very grateful for Armando and Trio and the time they took to interview. Thanks for taking an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. We will see you next time on Inside the Honors College.